So I said serializer is like a form where you can populate the data and which can check whether input data is correct or not. You can write even which methods, validation methods. You can write even validation methods in which class here, model serializer or serializer. So what is a model serializer is? Model serializer is bind with model. But here serializer doesn't bind with the model, but model serializer bind with what here? Model. Okay. So let me tell you about model serializer. But in the last class, we have seen which one here? Serializer. We have seen serializers. Okay, this is not bind with any model. So your model serializer, model serializer is bind with model serializer is bind with what here? Model. Okay. It means using model serializer allows to model serializer allows to perform it allows to perform crude operations. It allows to perform crude operations on model. Model serializer allows to perform crude operations on model. Okay. So this will avoid writing the same code again and again, right? Crude operations like it allows to perform the following operations. Okay, it allows to perform the following operations. What are the operations you can do is you can insert the data and you can update the data and you can delete the data and you can retrieve the data. Okay. And you can also do some input what here? Validations. Input validations also you can do it by using the serializer model serializer. Okay. So this avoids to write the same code again and again. So it is similar to this avoid, this avoids a redundant code. It avoids a redundant code. You don't require to write same code for inserting, updating, deleting, and retrieving and doing some input validations. You don't require to write the same code again and again. You don't require to write the same code again and again, right? So this avoids a redundant code. This avoids a redundant code, right? Then how to create a model serializer? I said no model serializer. Model serializer is a similar to which one here? Model form. Model serializer is similar to model form. Okay. So where you can input data operations. Okay, but only the thing is here it allows to do serialization and deserialization. Okay. It allows to do serialization as well as what? Deserialization. Okay. So let me create a project on this model serializer. Now here you are using a serializer, but now you are trying to take the help of model serializer and you are trying to use multiple methods. Now in the previous project, if you see the view, now you write different methods. This method is for reading and this method is for what? Writing. Okay. Now here you write a different functions here and here you have to take care of serializing as well as what? Deserializing. But by using API view, okay, you can convert this dictionary into what? This and you don't require to convert this. And even you're trying to say request.data and here you're not using any, what do you call it as IO bytes. Okay. So suppose this, if you take this one, you're trying to read the data and you're trying to say many, uh, say the previous example. Correct. So, okay. Now here I'm taking the help of, what do you call it as model serializer. Okay. So model serializer. Now let me tell you model serializer. Okay. Now let us create one project here. Okay. Let us create one project here, right? So Django admin, and I'm saying start project. And this is a web API, some five. Okay, right? And then after that, you open the web API folder. And here you're writing Python manage.py. I'm writing a start application API. Okay, the name of the application is what? API. So open this folder, open this folder. Okay. So what is the name of this is web API file. So after this, you create a model here, create a models.py. So there is a class. And what is the name of the class is, okay, employee model again. I'm taking same employee model, models dot, okay, models dot model, right? And in this, there is an employee number. Employee number is models dot integer field. And here I'm using a primary key equal to true. And there is an employee name, which is models dot character field, which is a character field and maximum length, SID at 20. And there is a job and models dot character field. And here I define the maximum length as 15. And there is a salary. And here also models dot float field. Okay. So this is what I've done. So there is an employee number, employee name, job, and there is a, so employee number, employee name, job, and there is a salary. Okay. So here I'm trying to do some crude operations on this. So go to the terminal and first try to install the application. Try to install the application. Okay. So here I'm trying to install the application one, and you have to, sorry, API. And even you have to install what application? Uh, Django hyphen. What is that? Django framework. Okay. What is the name of the application? You have to install the application, right? So what is the application you are installing? Django framework. Okay. So you have to install the application. These basic steps I said already. Okay. Maybe here, I think. Not here. Hmm. Okay, I said here you have to create a project and then you have to install the application and you have to include what here URL, right? So you have to install the application, and what is the application? REST framework. Okay. REST hyphen framework, right? Then go to urls.py and here you import the URL. So include path comma include, but actually this is required when you're doing authentication. Until unless you are not doing any authentication, this is not required. Until unless you are not doing any authentication, these URLs are not required to include. But you have to install the application, and this application also required when you're using this URL. Until unless you are not using URLs of REST framework, it is not required to install even application also. Even if I'm not writing this application, nothing will happen. Getting on? Okay. So because now this URLs might be used by server, but this is API authentication. AUTH is nothing but what? Authentication. Until unless you're not using any authentication, it is not required to install. It is not required to install the application called REST framework. It is not required to install REST framework. So after this, I then manage.py. What do you do? It make migrations, make migrations underscore. Okay, make migrations here. Hmm, what I meant here, not saved. Okay, make migrations. And then after that, Python manage.py migrate. So after this, what you do is create one super user. Okay, and register first. Go to admin and say admin dot site dot register. Okay, what you are trying to register is model. So API dot models import one model. What is the name of the model is employee. The model name is employee. Okay. So once it is done, now create one super user python minus.py, create super user and give the username here some NAT super user, create super user. Okay. Give the username and password. Okay. This is a password here. Okay. So once it is done, so python minus.py run the server. Okay. And just see is it registered or not. Okay. Because I want to know whether insertion, updation, deletion. After that, I want to know is it data is inserted, is it data is updated, is it data is deleted. I want to find all this. Input username and password, and this is a model. What is the name of the model is employee, but this is empty. Now we want to perform some crude operations, right? Now next, what I have to do is now this is models dot py. So this is a models dot py. So go to models dot py and create a model. Create a model. I will see here how to test it using Postman, not connecting, testing. Postman is used for testing. Okay. Okay, right. Now here I created a model. After creating a model in API, I'm creating one more file. And what is the name of that is serializers.py. Now here I'm saying Django, sorry. Okay, REST framework dot uh, REST framework import serializers. And from API dot models, import one model. And what is the name of that? Employee. So here I'm creating employee serializer. I'm creating employee serializer. Okay, serializer. An employee serializer is what your serializers dot, which is serializer here, model serializer. Okay, it means I'm creating the serializer using all the fields of which model? Employee model. Okay. And there is a class. And what is the name of the class is meta. And here you define the model name. And what is the name of the model is employee. And you are trying to include the fields. And you are including all the fields. And if you want to verify any validations, if you want to do any validations, then you can do validation by using validated validation methods. Suppose you want to validate which one? Suppose you want to validate salary. Validate. There also you use some name, right? What is that name? Like in form, model form also, every field is prefixed with what? Clear, cleaned, cleaned employee number, cleaned employee name. But in web API, you try to use what? Validate, and it followed by what name? Field name. Now, which field you want to validate? Now, I want to validate which field? Salary and self comma. This is what here some value. This value is nothing but what here salary. Okay. If value is less than, if value is greater than, this value must be greater than. If the value is otherwise, if the value is less than, if the value is less than, it should not be negative, right? Salary should not be negative. Okay. If value is less than or equal to zero, or if value is less than what? Zero, then you are raising what? Error. Which error are you raising? Validation error. Okay. You are raising one error. And what is that error is? Validation error. And where you find these errors? From where it is? Django dot. Tell me. Django dot validators. Core. Core. Core or not? Validators. Import. Which validator? Hmm. Validation error, right? Import core dot validators. You have to import one validation error. Okay, what is that error you are raising is? See, there are so many errors out there here. All these are what? Different predefined validators. All these are which validators? Predefined validators here. All these are validators only, but these are which validators? Predefined validators. You can, what is the base validator is serializers dot, sorry. Okay, serializes dot. I'm saying validation error. I'm trying to raise an error, but what is that error is validation error. Serializes dot validation error. Otherwise, it will return value. Otherwise, it will return value. So I'm saying return value. Okay, right? Now, if you want, you can encapsulate the text. And what is the text is salary. Salary must be greater than what? Zero. Okay, but if you are not if you are not writing any message, then it will take which message? Predefined message. If you are not writing a message, then it will take which message? Predefined message. You are trying to define the details. What is the details is what type of message it is generating, and what is the message is okay. Salary must be greater than what? Zero. Okay. Now that is the error what you are raising. Now, but this is which validation? Field level. This is which validation? Field level. And whenever you are writing a field level validation, like it is similar to, I said no, it is similar to which one? Model form. In model form, you are writing which method? Clean methods. In model form, you are writing which methods? Clean methods. But here you are writing which methods? Validate methods. Now, if you are trying to do field level validation, every field name should be prefixed with one validate. It should be prefixed with what here? Validate, right? So it is like this. It is like this. Okay. So what is the name of this is validate salary. Validate salary, right? So it should be written inside a class. It should be written inside a class, right? Now, once you do this serializer, so next is you have to go to the views. And in the views, now you are writing a view from REST framework, dot views import. What is the name of this is REST framework dot decorators import. What is the name of the decorator? API view is the name of the decorator at the rate API view. And this is able to handle all the HTTP methods. Okay, it is able to handle all HTTP methods. HTTP methods. Now this API handle which type of methods you have to define. Okay, in the last class we have seen like you are using API. Okay, at the rate API decorator, right? At the rate API view decorator, right? At the rate API view decorator. And here you are trying to define HTTP method names. And you can write a method or you can write a view that is able to handle multiple methods. Multiple methods. Multiple methods means I'll try to use like this. Now I'm using method names. I'm trying to use a method, HTTP method names. Now this is able to handle get method, and this is able to handle what? Post method, and this is able to handle which method? Put method, and this is able to handle which method? Delete method. Means one endpoint. You have not written multiple endpoints. You are writing one endpoint, and this one endpoint is able to handle how many operations? Four operations, like get operation, post operation, put operation, delete operation. You don't require to write multiple views or multiple endpoints to perform all these operations. Instead of writing multiple endpoints, you're writing everything in one endpoint. So what is the name of this is EMP view, and EMP view is an API view, and this will receive what here? A request. And you have to exempt a CSRF token. You have to exempt a CSRF token, and you are exempting a CSRF token by using one decorator. So what is the decorator you are using? CSRF token exempt. Okay. Now you have to import this decorator. You have to import this decorator here, right? So from django.views.decorators, CSRF import CSRF exempt. Okay. Now this is one more decorator which you have to use it. Okay. Then after generating this, you're trying to identify if request dot method, if request dot method equal to get. If the request dot method equal to what here? Get. If the request method is what? Get. What do you have to do? You have to read it. If the request method is a get, you have to read it. Okay, else if request dot method equal to post. Now you have to create the resource. Okay, else if request dot method, if the request dot method equal to put, what do you have to do? You have to update. Else if request dot method equal to what? Delete. If the request dot method equal to delete, so you have to delete the resource. Now here I'm using request dot method. Means you are trying to handle all the operations in one view. Means one endpoint instead of writing multiple endpoints. Now if the request method is a post, if the request method is what here post, if the request method is a post, what do you have to do? You have to read the data from request. You have to read the data from what here request. Okay. So you have to read the data from request by saying data equal to request dot. You are using directly what data means you don't require to use the byte stream. You don't require to use which stream byte stream. You read directly the data. See here, I'm not saying your body. I'm not saying your body. I'm using what here data. So data means it is which type of data JSON. It is which type of data JSON. You are using a data of which type of JSON. That JSON you have to convert into what dictionary. Okay, that JSON you have to convert into what dictionary, and then you have to populate that dictionary into what employee serializer. Okay, for that I'm using a serializer from API dot serializers import. What is the name of the serializer? Employee serializer. Now here I'm trying to say EMP equal to employee serializer, and you are populating this employee serializer by using which one? Data. You are populating this employee serializer by using what? Data. Okay, so what is the data you are using? Dictionary, right? So I'm using directly a dictionary. Okay, so request dot data, and you are converting this data into what? Dictionary. And then you are verifying it. If EMP dot is valid, if EMP dot is valid, then you are saying EMP dot what? Save. EMP dot save, and then you are returning a response. You are returning a response saying that the resource is what? Created. You are returning a response. Now response. So there is a response. REST framework is provided. An object called which one here? Response. Not HTTP response. I'm using a response. I'm using what here? A response. Here, this is a response. Okay, now here I don't require to convert. Here I don't require to convert. So I'm using directly what I'm using here? Response. Now REST framework dot response import a response. Return a response. Okay, return response. And what is the response is? The message. I'm encapsulating the message or wrapping the message saying that employee created, and then followed by what is the name of this is status. I'm defining the status code, and what is the response status code is 200. Or if you say 201, 200, 200 means successful, but 201 represent what resources created. 201 means what your resources created. Otherwise it should generate an error or not. Yes, it should generate an error. And now else you are saying return. What you are saying return response, and what is the response is serializers. What is that serializers? Now import serializer. What is the name of the serializer? So I need to get the error, right? So employee serializer dot errors. Employee serializer dot errors. Employee serializer dot errors. So what is this? Employee serializer is class, and errors which hold error generated by which one? Employee serializer. And I'm trying to write a status, and status equal to some 500. So 500 indicates which error? Server error. Okay, if you want, you give the status equal to 400. This indicates client error. Means suppose if the salary is given less than 0, if the salary is given less than 0, then it generates which errors? The salary validation error or not? Yes. Okay, now this is what you are trying to do it. Very simple. You read the request to data. Okay, then you are wrapping this request to data. You are wrapping this request to data into serializer. And after wrapping this data into employee serializer, you're checking is it input data is valid or not. If the input data is valid, you're saving it. If the input data is valid, you're saving it. Where you're saving this data within the model, and then you are generating a message saying that employee is what created. Otherwise means it is nothing but if the condition is a true, it will return this. If the condition is a false, it will come to this. You don't require to write else. You don't require to write else. Okay. You don't require to write else. Now response employee serializers dot errors, comma status code equal to what? 400. Now this is if the request method is what here? Post. Now here the code is decreased. Ring or not? Code is what decreased because otherwise you have to read the data from body. You have to read the data from body, and you have to convert that body content into what? JSON, and JSON into what? Dictionary, and dictionary you should assign it to what? Model instance, and then you have to save it. But you are not doing all that. Simply you are reading the data, and you are wrapping this data into employee serializer, which convert this data into what? Dictionary, and then map it, and then after that I'm saying emp dot e serializer is valid, then you are saying emp dot say, emp dot say, right? Yes. Now create one URL for this. Okay. So from API dot URLs, sorry, from API dot views, okay, import from API dot views, import EMP view. So here I'm creating only one endpoint. So there is a path. So this is a EMP view. Okay. Only one endpoint I'm creating it, and include, sorry, EMP view and EMP view only. Okay, right? But whenever you are trying to do updation or deletion, you have to send one primary key, because reading is done by using one primary key, and updating is done using one primary key, and deleting also done using one primary key. So here I'm trying to define the primary key, and I'm trying to define the primary key of which type here? Integer. I'm trying to define the primary key of which type of integer, and go to the views, and here EMP view, and this is having one parameter, and what is the name of this parameter is primary key, right? But you're not sending data to the primary key, because you're sending the data as a part of which method? Post method. If the request method is a post, it will do this. But there is only one endpoint. There is only one endpoint. Okay, then after this, you have to test it. You have to test it. Now develop. Now develop a client application. I'll tell you how to test it in browser. Okay, I say no, these are browsable APIs. These are what your browsable APIs means. You can also test within the browser. You can also test within the browser. Okay. So what is the name of this is EMP view, EMP view, but there is a primary key, right? Sorry, will send as a part of request as a query string. Will send as a part of request as a query string. Okay. Now this is EMP view. Yeah, yeah. 1 minute. Return is not there. What happened here? Oh, get method. What is the default method is? Get. Okay, no problem. Because we have not implemented which method? Get method. We implemented which method here? Post method, right? We have not implemented get method. Okay, let us develop. Let us develop a client application. So what I'm doing is I'm saying import request, and this is a base URL. So anyway, only one URL is there. Okay, if you have a multiple URLs, then you can go for this. So, but you don't require to do changes everywhere. Base URL. Then after that, you're trying to perform different operations. One is called as a create employee. So there is a function called create employee. Okay, there is a function called create employee. Now in this, you are creating an employee by sending employee number. I'm saying input. What should I input here? Employee number. So this is a client application, and there is an employee name. You're trying to input. You're trying to input employee name. Okay, and you're trying to input job. So this is nothing but employee job. Okay, and you're trying to input salary. So input what you're trying to input here, salary. Now after that, you're trying to put all this into one dictionary, and this is a dictionary which contain employee number as a key, employee number as a value, employee name as a key, and employee name as a value. And you have to give the same field names. Job is a key, and job is a value, salary is a key, and salary is what here? Value. Then convert this dictionary into JSON. Import JSON module, and this is which data? JSON data. And you are trying to convert this JSON, dictionary into JSON by saying JSON dot dumps, and this is which data? Dictionary. Then response equal to request dot which method? Post method. Now this is a base URL, and this is endpoint. So there is only one endpoint here. Okay. So what is the endpoint is EMP view. The endpoint is EMP view. Now base URL plus what is that here? Endpoint. And you are trying to send the data as a part of which one? Body. You are sending the data as a part of request body. Then how you are sending the data as a part of request body? By using one keyword argument called data. By using one keyword argument called data. Okay. So data equal to which data here? JSON data. And after that, you are trying to print response dot in which format? JSON. Okay. So this is how you are trying to create. Now see this code you have to understand. See, this code is decreased. But how this code is decreased? Now because of you are implementing which one? API view. Now this API view will read the data from body. Okay, previously we read the data from body and that will return one stream. Okay, we need to create a stream to read those bytes and we need to convert those bytes into what? JSON. And that JSON again you have to convert into what? Dictionary. All these operations you have to do it. But by implementing this API view, you are directly accessing which one? Data. But this data is in which format? JSON format. So those conversion you don't require to do it. Okay. Yes. Then directly you are giving this JSON data to what? Employee serializer. Okay. You are giving directly to employee serializer. Then next is you have to call this create. Create what here? Employee. Create employee. And when you run this, it's asking to input employee number, employee name, and there is a job, and there is a salary. Now there is, oh, what is this? Response is unsupported media type, text plain in which one? Request. Now, whenever you are sending, you have to define the which type? You have to define what? Content type. Okay, content type. What is the content type is? Application slash which one? JSON. You are sending which type of data? JSON data. See, okay, the data is what here? JSON. Run the code again. So, so this is the name of the employee, and this is a job, and this is what here? Salary. Some error is there. What is error? Content. Content or content type. What is the argument name? Content, I think. Where is the client application? Hyphen. Hyphen, huh? Hyphen, huh? No, underscore only. I think content. Content or content type. Content. JSON directly you can give JSON, right? Instead of using data, you can directly give what? JSON. So in that case, you don't require to do this. It will convert this dictionary into which format? JSON format. Let it be. Now I directly said JSON equal to JSON data, right? Okay, here. Yeah. Content hyphen type colon application slash this. Yes. Now you can write like that. Yes. Already we have seen, right? So JSON data, you can directly give JSON, right? Okay. You can directly give JSON. Now you have a request. Request is having different methods. Okay, URL JSON, and you can also define request headers. Headers are there. So data, a dictionary or list, but this should be which type of JSON type. Okay. And you can also define the content type. Okay. Why again here? Okay. So request.post data and JSON directly can give JSON. Now you can say headers, and in the headers you have to define which one here? Content type. Okay. In the headers, request headers. Now here, if I'm defining the data equal to JSON data, okay, what you have to do is you have to define the headers. Okay, header. You have to define the header, and header. What is the name of this? Is content type. Header content type, and this is a key, and the value is application slash which one? JSON. So request header, you have to change it. What do you have to change it? Request header. You have to change the request header. What is the header is content type, and what is the value is application slash JSON. Application slash JSON. This is a yeah. But instead of writing this headers, you can directly you can write JSON. JSON equal to JSON data. Directly you can say JSON equal to JSON data, right? That's the reason you can directly say JSON equal to JSON data. Okay. Otherwise, you have to define the headers, right? Let me run this. But what type of content you are sending, you have to define it. So employee number is there, employee name, job, and one more is a salary. Let me tell you this value error. Where is the value error is? See at the back end. Oh, so here, array. What happened? Employee serializer is there. And this employee serializer, you have to use one keyword argument. What is that keyword argument is? Data. I said here data equal to data. This data is a keyword argument and data run this. Okay. You cannot give directly data, employee number, employee name, job, and one more is a salary. What happened here? Which property? Let's see here. What are the fields are there? EMPNO, e-name, job, and one more is a salary. One minute. Now we'll just see here. So what type of data it is? JSON only. If not, we have to, yeah. to the backend, and here, oh, stringer. Yeah, it is JSON string. Yeah, it should be a JSON string. The JSON string you are converting into dictionary. So request.data, this will read the data. Correct only. It is a string, and you are converting the JSON string into dictionary. But that is done by using which one? Employee serializer. It is a JSON string only. It is a JSON string only. What is the problem is not JSON serializer. Yeah, we have defined the content type. Hmm. We'll define the header, sir. So actually not required because we use here JSON equal to JSON data. And if you want, you can define the headers. Okay, it means you are telling you are sending the data of which type JSON. You are sending the data of which type JSON. So here I'm trying to say headers. Okay, right? Now run the code now. So everything is correct. Employee number, employee name. So there is a job and there is a salary. What happened here? Object of type property is not JSON serializable. So we read the data, request.data is a JSON string. It is a string and print type of data and data, and this data is, we'll just check this data. The job of serializer is converting only, right? The job of serializer is converting only employee number, employee name, job, and salary. Yeah, just check it the backend. You can see the data. Yeah, the data is there. Employee number, employee name, job, and one more is what? Salary. Yes. The data is received. Employee number is one. Employee name is Naresh. Job is manager. Salary is what? 45,000. So here it is not check. It is not converting this data. The problem is here only. Means when you are trying to convert, serializer is trying to convert, right? It is trying to convert into dictionary, right? So here now you can see now it is given now. It is also employee serializer, employee number. Correct only. Mapping also done. But here you are sending string. But it should not be a string. It should be which type? Dictionary. So EMP, employee serializer. Correct only here. Post data, serializer, data equal to request dot data. If serializer dot is valid, serializer dot say. Otherwise, you are saying return response, serializer data. Now this is created, right? Same code here also. What we are doing, we are reading the request to data. And employee serializer data equal to data. is a capital or small? Beta. Correct only. Because it is read the data, right? So what is said here? Employee serializer data, employee number. So what we can do is, I don't know where is the error is. So it is correct only actually. So what we are trying to do is, we are trying to read, data, the sender. Now there's a method called as a class based. Why it is giving errors? Serializer dot save. So employee, everything is correct only. Where we are doing a mistake. Model employee, all. So okay, now here might be done the mistake. So here I said data, you have to send the data as a part of request body. So whenever you want to send the data as a part of request body, you have to use the keyword argument called data. Okay. Okay. But not as a part of request get method. But whenever you want to send the data as a part of request body, you have to use which argument? Data argument, not JSON. But here you are trying to set the headers. What is the headers is content type, and what is the content type is application slash JSON. So the simple mistake is we have to send the data as a part of request body. But when I say JSON, you are sending data in which format? JSON. But that is send as a part of what? Not as a part of request body. Whenever you want to send the data as a part of request body, you have to send the data by using which argument? Data argument. Okay. Using which argument? Data argument. So that is one mistake. And you have to set the headers. And what is the headers is content type application slash JSON. Now one employee is created. So one employee is created here. I can see. So this is one employee is created, right? So you don't require to write lengthy code here. Okay, simply input the employee number, input the employee name, input the job, and input what here? Salary. So one more employee is created, run the code. If employees already exist, it will give the error employee number 3, name of the employee, job. And if I say minus 10, it is generated what? Error. So during handling above exception, another exception is occurred. But actually we should get an error or not? Yes. So here, rise error, type error again. What is the type error is employee serializer dot errors. But actually this is belongs to which one? This is belongs to which one? This error is belongs to which one? EMP. So EMP dot, what is the name of the field is errors. You want error messages or errors, anything you can take it. Okay. But there I've taken which one? Class. But generally when it is error is generated after creating object. After creating object, now I'm saying EMP dot what is the name of this is errors, and this will return what it return. This will return what dictionary. This will return the dictionary, and the dictionary is converted into JSON. Now run the code again. See errors. I'm just checking it. Employee number is there. Name of the employee, job of the employee, salary is -10. Now you can see salary must be greater than 0. Salary must be greater than 0. Now what you have to do? You have to create means when the error is generated after creating which object? Serializer object. What is the mistake I did here? I use which class? Serializer class. But I should not use a class. I should create what? I should use what? Object. I should not use a class. I should use what here? Object. Right? So these are the mistakes what I did. Right? Then once you store the data, see nothing. Data equal to request dot data. Okay, but you are not saying request dot body. You're saying request dot data, and data is which type of JSON string, and that JSON string you are converting into what? Dictionary. That JSON string you are converting into what? Dictionary, and then you are populating employee serializer, and then you are checking is it this input data is valid or not. If the input data is valid, you're saving it. Otherwise, you're generating one error. So that is when if the request method is a post. If the request method is a getter, request method is a get, tell me what I have to do. Employee dot model query set equal to employee dot import a model here from API dot models import which model? Employee model. Okay, employee dot objects dot what? All. So then I have to convert this query set into what? JSON. I have to convert this query set into what? JSON. JSON, yes or no? Dictionary or JSON? Dictionary model instance to dictionary. Dictionary or list of dictionaries. So EMP list equal to employee serializer query set comma many. So many equal to what here? True. Means you are trying to deserialize, you are trying to deserialize so many objects. Means you are trying to convert model instances into what? Dictionary. Query set into what? List of dictionaries. Then return response, okay, with EMP list. So return response with the EMP list. Come to here, come to the client application. This is the client application. So client application where I want to get the details. Now there is a read what employees, read employees, and endpoint is the same. Endpoint is the same. Why you want to write again? Okay, just to say here, what you'll write? Response equal to request dot. What is the method? Get base URL plus what? Endpoint. Okay, and print response. Now this will return all employee details. Call this function. So read employees. Call this function. Read employees. Run this. Oh, why capital? Method name is what? Small. Run the code. Response status 500. Where is the error here? List serial object type list serializer is not JSON serializer. What happened? Employee dot objects dot all. Oh, you write like this, huh? You write like this? No, don't write like this. How you write it? Tell me here. Can I guess, Can I guess how to get the data? In model form, we did right. In model form, how to get the data using model form? Uh, what do you do right? You write same, employee, employee dot objects dot employee dot objects dot all. This written which object? Query set. Query set or not? Yes. Now you are writing employee serializer. But employee serializer is a bind with what? Model. Employee serializer is bind with what here? Model. So here, what is the error is? The error is here. Okay, again, it is giving internal server error. So you have to dump, means you have to convert this query set into what? You have to convert this query set into which type of listed type? Listed type. Okay, because is it query set contain one value or more than one value? More than one. Then employee serializer, what is the data? Employee serializer, what is the data here? Query set, comma, what is that? Many equal to true. So this will return which list? Employee list. And then return, what you are returning here? Response. And this is which list? Employee list. Serializer, we have done already serializer, right? But here data, you need to use one keyword argument. What is the keyword argument is? Data equal to what? Query set. And this query set you are converting into what? List. This query set you are converting into what? List. Query set you are converting into list. You have to understand this employee serializer, model serializer. Whenever you see this model serializer is having various keyword arguments. And one of the keyword argument is what? Data. Now already we have seen this. Already we have seen this. Okay. Now you can see employee serializer query set many equal to what here? True. And you are saying employee serializer dot, what is that here? Data. But employee serializer is which type? Employee serializer is which type here? Not a model serializer. But in this case, it is which serializer? Model serializer. It is a model serializer where you are saying employee serializer. You are trying to define the data as which one here? Query set. Okay. Over this month, this week I'll complete. Okay. I don't want to prolong it because, okay. So because debugging, it will take a lot of time because simple mistake, it will try to do a lot of time. Okay. One mistake, one simple one only. Okay. So now see here, we have done in the previous case one simple mistake. What is that? Data, right? So with that, we wasted how much time? Some half an hour time, almost. At least 20 minutes we wasted. Okay. And here also simple mistake. Now I said employee.objects.all and employee serializer data query set. Okay, query set. I said query set. Here also simple mistake only. But what happen is when you try to do it, it will take a lot of time. Now employee serializer query set many equal to true and response EMP list. See, you have to, I mean, you come across all the things when you start debugging it. When you start debugging it, right? So employee list is there. Now what is the query set is contain all the data. Okay, what is the request method is a get only. Okay, but query set contain more than one model instance, and I want to convert this query set into what? List of dictionaries. Okay, and that again I want to convert into what? JSON. And this JSON conversion taken care by which one? Response. This JSON conversion is taken care by what? Response. You don't require to do that. Now tomorrow I'll tell you how this conversion is done, right? Because I have another class tomorrow will continue, right? Thank you. We'll see tomorrow, right? Now I'll explain here.